How's it going, guys? Alpha here, bringing you my NPL Week 1 battle. This week we take on Trevor and his Long Island Golducks. If you haven't seen my team builder or my draft recap, you want to go check that out if they're up. I'm assuming they're up. I did them. I just don't know if I've edited them. Hopefully I have. If not, well then I'm bad at this whole YouTube thing. But we're here in Week 1 of NPL Season 4, and yeah, like I said, check out the team builder if it's up. If not, real quick to go over my team, I brought a max special defense, mega aggron, max HP, max spadef, roar, thunder punch, earthquake, heavy slam. I brought a Furium Z guard chomp, speed creeping mega gardevoir with earthquake, fire fang, dragon claw, and swords dance. I brought a max Fizdef Miltank with stealth rock, milk drink, seismic toss, and thunder punch. I brought a max Fizdef Tapu Fini with nature's madness, taunt, moonblast, and surf. I brought a Technotop, banded Technotop, banded adamant Technotop, just fucking all of the nuke Hitmontop with mach punch, bullet punch, Revenge, and Stone Edge. And I brought Life Orb, Tornadus Therian, speed creeping, a max speed Terrakion or Virizion, and with Hurricane, U-Turn, Sludge Bomb, and Heat Wave. So long story short, you see the team that he brought out of his squad, which I don't currently have pulled up, but he also, along with this team being Mega Gardevoir, Terrakion, Magnezone, Mantine, Virizion, and Celesteela, he also has a Darmanitan, an Absol, a Tauros, and two other Mons, which I can't seem to think of at the moment. Dragonite, and something else. I don't know. I want to say the other one's a Z-Mon. No, Virizion was one of his Z-Mons, I think. I don't know. Whatever. He has some other Mon that apparently wasn't important enough for me to remember him having it. So, I look at his team that I see here, and there were a bunch of things that I could have done here with my lead. I pretty much could have led literally anything. I didn't want to lead Tornadus, though, in case you wanted to bring Scarf Terrakion lead. I didn't want to lead Aggron in case he led Magnezone, so that kind of narrowed it down to, and I didn't really want to lead Technotop because it's not powerful enough to really OHKO anything but Terrakion, and I don't want to take in the hit from Terrakion this early on in the match. So I ended up, that brought it down to Garchomp, Fini, and Miltank, and I was assuming he had coverage with Virizion for Garchomp. I can't do anything to Celesteela with Garchomp that early. Mantine walls me. So I just kind of, at that point, it just became between Fini and Miltank, and I thought, well, Miltank gives me the opportunity to put up rocks early. Fini is a good matchup against this entire team, but I also didn't want to take the chance that he led Magnezone, predicting my Aggron lead. So I ended up leading Miltank just to see, worst case scenario, he leads Tarak or Virizion, and I have switch-ins to both of those monsters being Fini and Tornadus respectively. So I end up leading Miltank, I'm sorry, as he leads his Terrakion, and I'm gonna scout to see what this thing's gonna do. So I'm gonna immediately go hard into my Fini because I eat hits for days, and he goes for taunt, which shows me he's probably he's probably not Scarf or Band, which is good. He's either Life Orb or like Sash variant. So turn 2 comes around, and I just click Nature's Madness, expecting that he's not going to stay in on my Fini, even if he is Sash. So I'm going to go ahead and click Nature's Madness as he brings in his Mantine, and this is a huge hit right off the bat because that brings it down to 50%. I click Nature's Madness again after he shows lefties, and that brings it down to less than 30%, which is really, really good. The less this thing can sit in front of me and roost, the better. Here, knowing that my taunt's going to wear off, I'm going to go ahead and click taunt on this turn as he does less than 10% with his skull, which is phenomenal, and he can't roost up, and he's kind of just forced to switch out here as he does reveal to go for the roost. And so he's going to go hard into, I believe, his Virizion here, as I'm going to pull a switch into my Miltank. I'm pretty sure that's how this happens. Yeah, my Miltank just cannot catch a break in this game. So here I'm going to go hard into, I believe, either Tornadus or Fini. I can't remember which. I just stay in. That's right. I didn't want him setting up a sub, and I didn't value rocks that much. But here he goes into his Magnezone. I'm just going to put up a sub as he goes, or my rocks, as he goes for a Volt Switch. And he does about basically what the damage tells me is that he's not Specs. and he's not Life Orb because he didn't take damage there. He's some kind of invested variant of something that doesn't boost his damage, basically. I was expecting max special attack Modest, but either a berry or lefties or a scarf or something. That's kind of what I was rolling with that assumption. I don't know how accurate that was, but we'll see later in the game that he proves not to be any kind of choice variant. But so he Volt switches into his Terrakion. Here I'm just going to go hard into Feeny again because he has not yet proven to me that he can do anything to Feeny. No, here I go into Garchomp. Yeah, I go into Garchomp on a hard read on him going for rocks. And I'm going to go ahead and click Earthquake. And I outspeed, which is really, really weird because I'm not a Scarf Garchomp. And I was really confused when I outsped. You'll find out later in the match that this was an error on Trevor's part. But so I take the Terrakion out with literally no consequence whatsoever, with the exception of him getting rocks up, which was no big deal for my team at all. So the Terrakion's out of the way. Garchomp picks up our first kill of the season. And here he's going to bring in his Celesteela. And here I'm going to switch, which will help me later in the game. Little did I know. Because here, I'm pretty sure he thought that I was Scarf because I outsped his Terrakion, because he hadn't realized that he didn't properly speed his Terrakion. So he goes into Celesteela. I'm going to pull a hard switch into Aggron here, as he doubles into Virizion. And that's not really good for me, because I am specially defensive Aggron, but I don't know what this Virizion's trying to do. So I'm going to go hard into Tornadus as he misses the Focus Blast. And so here I'm just going to U-turn because I don't know what he's going to do. He's probably not going to stay in. That doesn't really give me any information because he missed, unfortunately. I'm going to U-turn out as he proves to be a physically defensive Celesteela as he takes 3% from that U-turn. I'm going to go into tank because I know I can sit in front of this thing all day regardless of what the Celesteela is. And I'm just going to Milk Drink up as he goes into his, what do you call that thing? What's the word? That thing. I go back into my Tornadus again until he proves that he can do anything at all to me. And he hits me for 28% on the Focus Blast. That's going to prove... After he switches here, I'm thinking I U-turn here. Oh no, I Heat Wave here. Because I was expecting him to bring in the Celesteela again. And here he's going to Mega into his Gardevoir, and he's going to put up a Wish, which is really good for me, because I'm going to go into my Aggron expecting to have to take 2 hits from this thing. But I only have to take 1. And because of how low he is on HP, if he wants to preserve that thing, he can't possibly stay in. So I'm going to throw off a Thunder Punch in case he wanted to go into Mantine to get his health all the way back up with the Wish. I didn't want that happening, so he gets his health back to full with his Magnezone. He Volt Switches on me, and it's 36%, which confirms the idea of Modest, but not Specs. And he brings in his Virizion on my Earthquake, and my Earthquake does jack shit to at 20%. So here I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to slow this down a little bit. Going back to what I was saying with the previous Virizion play when I had Miltank in, I went hard into Tornadus because he clicked Focus Blast last time. I assumed he wasn't going to make a prediction there, and he didn't. He hit the Focus Blast this time, did 27%, which tells me he's not boosted. He's not Life Orb, obviously, because he's not taking damage, and he's not like Choice Specs or something weird like that. I elected to click Heat Wave on the next play, like I said, because I expected Celesteela to come back in, and instead he ended up going into Gardevoir, which worked out because I U-turned out on it and did 60% total damage to it. When he showed the Wish, I assumed that meant it was not a very offensive Gardevoir, which meant I didn't really have to preserve Mega Aggron as well, and as it would come later in the game, it turned out to be even less of a factor. But I go hard into... once he brings the... Virizion in on my Aggron, I go hard into Feeny this time as opposed to going into Tornadus, expecting him to make a prediction, and that is exactly what he does after I set the train up as he clicks Stone Edge, and that shows him to be, like I said, not boosting, but I hadn't caught on to this point, which I'll learn later in the match that he was, at the very end of the match, that he was Scarf Virizion. As he goes into his Mega Gardevoir, I'm gonna double into my Tornadus. And okay, so let's slow this down because I'm very, very bad at this. I haven't done this in a while. Going back to the play on the Feeny switch in on the Stone Edge. Like I said, I didn't expect him to click Focus Blast the third time when I've shown that Tornadus is my switch in. So I wanted to see what he had for Tornadus, and it proved that he did have Stone Edge. So I went into Feeny. If he proved to be entirely special, he was going to have HP Ice, which would do nothing to Feeny as well. And Stone Edge, as you saw, did literally 0 damage, like 12%, which is nothing. And so after I pulled that stun, I knew he wasn't going to stay in because his, no, I shouldn't say I knew he wasn't going to stay in. Basically at that point, I expected him to go for a Giga Drain after that play, and when he didn't, that should have told me immediately that it was Scarfed. When it was Fini versus Virizion, and Virizion outspeeds, it was at like 40%. My Moonblast wouldn't have killed from that range, so I don't know. That should have been a very, very dead giveaway that he was a Scarf Virizion. But anyway, so I pulled a switch into Tornadus, expecting him to go hard into, or expecting him to Giga Drain me. He doesn't. He goes into his Gardevoir, so I'm gonna U-turn on that Gardevoir, and as he doubles into his Mantine. And so I get the Mantine down to 8%. I can pick this thing off with Garchomp without a problem. And here's where things get weird, because as I bring my Garchomp in, I'm going to click Dragon Claw. And it's really funny because the way this happened. So I'm going to kill off the Mantine here with Dragon Claw. And so this is where the idea of him improperly speed creeping his Terrakion comes in. So I killed off the Mantine here, and earlier in the game, because I outsped and killed the Terrakion with Earthquake, Trevor had assumed I was Scarfed. Little did he know his Terrakion, like I said, was improperly sped to not outspeed me. So I clicked Dragon Claw. He thought I was Scarfed into Dragon Claw here, so he brought in his Fairy-type Mega Gardevoir to get a free Wish off. And everybody in the chat was saying, "Oh, nice free Wish there," and I was just like, "Oh, it's not." I kind of felt bad at that point because like, I accidentally baited Trevor into thinking he was safe to bring Gardevoir in, when in fact he wasn't, and I EQ'd this thing and killed off the Mega Gardevoir, so that brought me up to a 6-3 lead, which is really, really nice for me. And at this point, I can pretty much clean up with top with just a little bit more chip damage, which is really nice. But he's going to bring in his Virizion here, which tells me immediately to get out of here because he has HP Ice. So I'm going to go hard into Fini, once again making the read, expecting him to click HP Ice because I couldn't imagine why else he would have brought this thing in. I almost clicked Inferno Overdrive, but I was expecting him, like I said, to have some sort of coverage to Garchomp. He does reveal the HP Ice that does 6% to me, which is absolute nothing. And here I'm going to stay in and click Moonblast. And this is where this is what should have confirmed to me that he was Scarfed when he switches out yet again into his Celesteela. No, into his Magnezone, my bad. And I do about 20%, I believe, with my Moonblast. Yeah, 20%. And so here I obviously can't stay in. I want to preserve Steela. Whatever this thing is called, Fini, in case I do need to whittle things down for God only knows what reason. So I'm going to go into Aggron, stack off Aggron, as he clicks Thunderbolt. And this took a long while because I wasn't sure what this set was, and for the longest time I thought it was Scarf. What I should have done there, if I was playing for differential, which at this point I really wasn't, I was pretty confident in my ability to pull this game out. I should have gone into Garchomp. That would have pretty much wrapped up a 6-0 for me. Because I outspeed the Magnezone, and as we'll find out, I would have either outsped the Magnezone or he would have been locked into Thunderbolt, and obviously wouldn't have been able to hit me. So I would have been able to put up a Dance or Earthquake this thing. The thing is, the reason I didn't go into Garchomp is I didn't know whether it was Scarfed at the time, or if it was like a berry or something, and so I didn't want to make that play immediately. I was going to sack Aggron and see what happened. If he clicked HP Ice or something like that, which would have been weird, I guess. Then I would have known. But so like, he kills off my Aggron with Thunderbolt. It does, like I said, 45%, which proves to be modest with my spit off Mega Aggron. So here I'm just going to click EQ, expecting him at this point to be Shuca Berry because just based on the fact that he is not getting that boost, the boosted damage that is. It could have been Scarf, but I was and if it was Scarf, I'd just click EQ and I win anyway. But at this point, I pretty much assumed it was Shuca, and I'm still well within range to kill with Shuca. Shuca, I think it takes a minimum of about 80%, 85% from this Earthquake. So I just click EQ, the Shuca pops, the Magnezone dies. Garchomp picks up yet another kill. That's 4 kills for it in the match at this point. So here he brings in the Celesteela. I'm expecting an HP Ice again. So I'm going to go hard into my Miltank, kind of just sacking it off. And basically what he does is, what does he do here? He Giga Drains me, that's right. And he gets his health back, which is really annoying. Leech Seeds and Giga Drain are the things that were pain in the ass to deal with Celesteela in mock battles. But it's not that big of a deal, as I just just spam Seismic Toss at this point. And he Giga Drains me again. I Seismic Toss again. I outspeed so I can Milk Drink up. So here I click it again as we both get left, or as I get lefties recover and he doesn't. I assume that meant that he was either a berry or AV, and I think that is later confirmed. potentially, as he's only clicking Giga Drain at this point. He eventually shows Stone Edge. I'm pretty sure he was AB. So I'm just gonna keep clicking Seismicast as he goes into his Verzion here, trying to get some sort of initiative. And here's where I really should have known he was Scarfed. And this is where I finally figured out that he's Scarfed. Actually, right after this turn, I bring the Verzion down to 22%, and he's gonna fire off a Focus Blast on me, and he's gonna hit the Focus Blast. Miltank will die, and it's gonna look like it's gonna end in a 4-0 as I'm gonna bring in Tornadus here. Thinking that still not registering that it was a Scarf fucking Verzion, and this was kind of a dumb play. But so he outspeeds me with a Focus Blast. He misses, unfortunate. It really didn't matter, but I'm gonna click Heat Wave and kill this thing off. And now all I have to do is not miss the Heat Wave, and I get a clean 4-0 to start the season. But naturally, I'm gonna miss the Heat Wave here, and so it's gonna bring it down to a 3-0. I was actually scared for a minute when I missed this Heat Wave because, as you'll see, he's going to kill off my Tornadus with the Stone Edge, and he's going to get a defense boost. And I can't touch this thing with Feeny, and my 2 ways of killing it at this point are physical. But luckily, I am Furium Z this week, so I am able to click Inferno Overdrive and finish this thing off. I don't even know if it had coverage to hit me, but that is going to be GG. We're going to start off with a 3-0 victory on our good friend Trevor, and Garchomp's going to pick up 5 kills like a goddamn monster, so that's amazing. But that was our week 1 battle. It was a really exciting battle to have, really fun. Not exactly the way I expected it. I didn't really expect to see the Verzion at all, and it ended up being a pretty big factor in the game. I expected to see the Darmanitan over it, but nonetheless, that was our first battle of Season 4, and it ended up in a W, so I'm pretty proud of that. That's all I have, guys, today. If you guys like the video and want to show your support, be sure to hit the like button in the thoughts comment section below. Also, remember to subscribe and drop us today. If you share, be sharing, caring. Follow me on Twitter because Topiates and stuff. Videos are coming out. That's a good way to get in contact with me, and sometimes it's kind of funny. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will speak to you soon. Peace out.